Hey guys, this is just a test run. I really want to show off some of my collection that I think you may find interesting. Um, I've been a long time collector of video game memorabilia, and I think a lot of you may be interested in what I have. The history of a lot of these classic games has been of huge import to me. And so, without further ado, I'd like to show you some of the things from Final Fantasy VII that I think are particularly special. One moment, please. So, these right here, I don't know if you can see it perfectly, but it's gold. This one for Tifa as well. And on the back, you can see right here, it says in Japanese, I'm sorry, the webcam isn't focusing on it well enough, but it says campaign prize. And so initially, when FF7 was to come out, Bandai actually and Cardass had a special campaign to win these gold cards. Here are the other two. It's Aerith, and then there's Sephiroth, and there's only four. And so you'd enter this campaign in 1996, and if you were lucky, you would win one of the cards, and there was 500 cards produced for each of the four, and each winner would receive only one card. So getting a full set is quite difficult nowadays. I'm very happy to have one, but I'm very interested in preserving these for posterity. You can see that, on the cards themselves, unlike the normal editions, from what I understand, there's a bit of embossing. It's kind of hard to see again with this webcam. I wish I could focus it, but there's a bit of embossing, and that embossing just gives it an extra layer of cool, I think. Um, they each came with a letter, and I can show you that later if you're interested, but it's really not much to look at. Um, Another thing that I would like to show, if you guys would be interested, is the Chrono Trigger phone cards. Now, these are also contest prizes as well, and back before Chrono Trigger was released, there were several campaigns, and one of the campaigns um, for Chrono Trigger, back in 94, 95, was for some special Akira Toriyama illustrated phone cards. Now, nowadays, these are a real pain in the butt to track down, and I know people are like, they're just phone cards. But, someone like me who likes memorabilia, I just stuff that has no real utility. It's really cool, and so here are a couple of them. As you can see, this one is. I'm sorry, it has some glare, and again but that's the nighttime scene where they're relaxing by the fire. Um, this is another iconic image. You can find all these images online, but that's them fighting again underground against the subterranean enemies there. Um, this one is, of course, Marl telling Chrono how much she loves him after the pivotal scene with the Chrono Trigger, the namesake of the game. Another image you'll see pretty much everywhere. This is another one right here, and by the way, there's 10 official Toriyama images for Chrono Trigger, and there are 10 phone cards. So here's another one. You can see them fighting against the Mystics right there. I'm really sorry about the resolution. I'm really sorry about that. I will, if there's any interest in what I'm doing here, I will definitely up my production and try and create something that's higher quality for you guys. Um, this one is the cover art, as you can see. Of course, we know Marl never has the fire tech right there. She's ice, but this image was actually drawn by Toriyama before all of those mechanics were worked out. But they just went with it, and because it's a beautiful illustration. Uh, Here's one that most people have seen. I'm sorry it's backwards, but this one was on the Japanese box art. This is them chilling at home right here. You can see them just relaxing, you know, and they're just doing, there's a lot of shenanigans. Luca is tinkering with Robo. So just put those down over there. It's kind of a lot of them. This is probably my favorite one. Magus is my favorite character, as pretty much all of you know, and that's Magus in the air with a magic around his hand. He's about to launch an attack. Frog's there with the Masamune, and Luca and Chrono are preparing for an attack. You can see there. That's my favorite of the Toriyama illustrations. Here's another one. It's them in the epoch right there, just flying away. And here's the last of the traditional ones. It's Luca riding her, her dinosaur through back, however long it was ago that she was around. So those are the 10. And then there was actually a bonus one. It was this one. It's just the logo with some gears. That's the 11th phone card. It's a little hard to find. In Japan, phone card collecting is kind of a huge deal. The way we kind of collect stamps here. I mean, there are some people that have thousands of phone cards, and they're just, it's a huge thing. And pretty much any commemorative event in Japan or anything special game related, at least during that time, and even now sometimes, but especially then, there's pretty much guaranteed to be a phone card for it. Whatever game you like, if you liked Legend of Legaia, or if you liked, Chrono Cross, or to name some other Square ones like Sword World or anything really, there's a phone card for it, I guarantee. Now, probably one of the most painful things to collect phone cards for, and I just gave up, is Star Ocean. I'm not gonna go through all of these, but these are some Star Ocean phone cards, and as you can see, they all have the same back. There's a sticker there. Sorry. They all have the same back. They're all just gray, and they'd just be used for $10 or 1,000 yen calls and stuff. Um, yeah, I think Star Ocean is actually one of the best examples. It has one of the best casts, other than Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VI. It's um, tend to be a bit more cutesy in the art because it was partially a dating simulator. It had dating sim mechanics, but the cast was just all around, I think, extremely strong, and I think Enix knew that. That's why they created so much merchandise. I think they saw how much money Squaresoft at the time, before they were Square Enix, was making off of Final Fantasy VII merchandise, and they decided, hey, let's make tons and tons and tons of merch for Star Ocean, the second story. And so ultimately, that's what happened. There was tons of it. Um, some of these are done by Minato Koyo. Like this is the original. This is the original artist for Star Ocean, the second story. You can recognize the designs. You've seen them. You've played the game. And this one right here is from the anime, actually, Star Ocean EX. I have a combination of both. This one is by Mayumi Azuma. Totally different styles. You can kind of see, Cloud has kind of a much more traditional RPG look on this one, and then much more anime style look on that one. I personally like the Minato Koyo artwork more, but strangely enough, Minato Koyo totally changed up his style and did something really special with the blue sphere phone cards. Here's another Star Ocean EX phone card by Mayumi Azuma. Sorry, it's terrible. And then here's a CG Calnus phone card. Let's take a look if we can find the rest. So here's an example of Minato Koyo doing a good job in the RPG style. It's really hard to see, but and it's there's something about it that's just much different than the Star Ocean EX designs. I really like the Minato Koyo work there. And then it gets even weirder. So they went with the anime artist for Star Ocean Blue Sphere's official art, but then they introduced another artist, the Star Ocean Blue Sphere manga, and her name is Aoi Mizuki. And so you can see like the very feminine designs here, very very feminine. Um, this one is Mayumi Azuma again, for Star Ocean, the second story. Sorry about the glare. Um, and this is Aoi Mizuki. You can kind of see the super girly designs. That's Ashton, that's Precis, and that's Leon. They have different outfits on. They released so many phone cards for Star Ocean Blues for Star Ocean, the second story and Star Ocean Blue Sphere. It's too many. It's probably in the hundreds, but I got one last little thing to show right now, and that is another favorite of mine. It's Devil Summoner Soul Hackers phone card. This one is by Kazuma Kaneko, the artist, and yeah, it depicts Nemissa, kind of the ghost that basically possesses your girlfriend Hitomi. Your character is a silent protagonist and a blank slate. You can name him, but yeah, this character is this archetype. Nemissa is one of my favorite archetypes in video games. If you know of Millennia from Grandia 2, um, Nemissa is very similar, kind of like benevolent, but kind of dangerous and sometimes gets out of hand. Has to be kind of reined in, but is a lot of fun as a character. But anyway, that's kind of the end of the show and tell. I hope you enjoyed that bit. I have a lot more to show, and if I get any support whatsoever for posting this, I will absolutely go through some of my other pieces. I have just a lot of posters I could show you, like you can see back there, right over there. There's a Xenogears on my wall, um, framed, and then I have a few other posters throughout, and I have some plans to frame some back there. But my primary interest is RPGs. I really, really, really like RPGs, and that goes for American and Japanese. And you know, um, if you were to support my channel, and just give me some views, I would just it would give me something to do, and I could share some of my more obscure interests. Um, like for instance, one RPG I recently learned about that I got some promotional material for is one called Rejoice, Beyond the Kingdom of Aretha. And it's a Super Nintendo game. It was never localized here, or Super Famicom. And if you like Secret of Mana, it's a Secret of Mana clone, but the story and the writing and the characters, I think, are far superior. Maybe the mechanics, that's up for debate, but the music I think is better, and the characters are better, and it's also two-player. And I have some really interesting promotional material for that I could show you. But you should definitely check it out, even if you don't support my channel. It's a beautiful game. Unfortunately, the translation is not 100% done, but just giving it a little test whirl with the ROM, 100% recommended. It's called Rejoice. Rejoice Beyond the Kingdom of Aretha, or Rejoice Aretha Okoku no uh, Kinata, or something like that. I'm not super. Yeah, anyway, um, yeah, check that one out. And let's see, what else do I have to report? Yeah, I mean, I have some prototypes to show you and other things like that, and yeah, and also reviews of games. So if you'd like me to talk about like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I have a lot to say on that. I have a whole a lot of interesting things. Like, for instance, and I'm sorry I'm going all over the place, but I'm really just trying to get my bearings for what I'd like to share with all of you guys who might be watching. But my favorite character in the game by far is Roach. or Roche. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Um, but Roach reminds me very much of Random Hajio from Snatcher, by Hideo Kojima. If you look at pictures of the red bike of Random Hajio, and then you look at the pictures of the, of Roche, their hair goes slicked back, it's golden, they're wild motorcyclists, they're crazy. But I think Roche is not just like Random Hajio. Roche also has kind of Gray Fox vibes. He's crazy, He's like the scene where in Metal Gear Solid um, where Gray Fox just bangs his head against the wall and he's like the medicine, and it's a spectacular sight to see this this guy, this amazing fighter who's interested in fair fights, by the way, just like Roach. Roach insists there's a fair fight, but he's also crazy. So Roach is kind of a combo of Gray Fox and Random Hajio. I think that's actually the arc that they're going for with Roach. I just have an overwhelming sense of that. I mean, I love that character, and that's the theme that's playing now, Ignition Flame. Um, and yeah, I mean, I loved FF7R. I thought it was a fantastic title. Um, I mean, there were flaws with it, and there were quite a few. But for me, there's no perfect game, and so I kind of weigh the pros versus the negatives. And for me, because there's just so many things that did right, I give it a 10 out of 10, even though there's flaws. Yeah, like the loading times. Like I know, I understand. There's a lot of material on there, but like when you get into the chocobo, to at least on a Model One PS4, which is what I had, it's almost faster to run to where you're going than to take the chocobo. Um, but a lot of the things like the new game plus and the chapter selection, hard mode, and all of that was outstanding, and the fact that they are not just remaking the game, but making it kind of a meta game is just so cool. And of course, the 5-disc soundtrack that they put together uh, by Masashi Hamauzu. The guy is a god. It's going to be great. I don't know if you guys ever played Front Mission Gun Hazard. It's a Super Famicom game that was translated into English. That one has That one, Front Mission Gun Hazard, has music by Masashi Hamauzu. It has 4 tracks, and it's a Squaresoft game. It's a side-scrolling action RPG, and and it yeah, it's like Parasite Eve. Uh, you will absolutely love that game if you like action RPGs like Terranigma, Parasite Eve, things of that nature. Um, Music was scored by Nobuo Uematsu, Yasunori Mitsuda, Junya Nakano, and of course, as I said, Masashi Hamauzu, who composed 4 tracks, one of which is the ending theme, Impatience Part 2, and it is so good. I mean, that guy is a rising star. He's gonna put out some great new material, especially when the new remake hits. Um, but yeah, man, Masashi Hamauzu, great work on the remake, redoing Uematsu's original compositions. So I could talk a whole lot about that. I could talk a lot about retro RPGs. I could talk about any number of things that might interest you. I'd be happy to answer any requests that you have and make a video on that. I just really want something to do, and I really want to engage with the community of fans, who are as serious about RPGs as I am. So, if this was of interest to you, just leave a comment, and I will probably make a new channel um, devoted specifically and entirely to game content. And as I said, I'll take requests. Anyway, thanks a lot for the one of you especially that sat through this and watched me. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I hope this was entertaining. Thanks a lot. I just have to figure out now how to shut down the live stream, but thank you so much. Have a nice day.